Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Driving the Wheels Off. Today, we're going to be working on my F250, and we're going to be doing a couple of things. The first thing is we're going to rotate the tires. And secondly, I'm going to be investigating an issue I'm having in the front end where it's pulling a little bit to the right. Now, I'll get more into that story in the video, but let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the items we're going to be using today, and for more information, take a look at the comments below. Let's first talk about the plan. When you're doing a tire rotation on this truck, what they tell you to do is on the front tires, they go to the opposites in the back. The back tires go straight forward. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the two tires off of the driver's side first. When we get done with the work we're going to do in the front, we're going to move the back tire to the front, then we're going to move ourselves around to this side of the truck. So let's go ahead and get that started. Safety first. Let's go ahead and put the chocks under the wheels. On this truck, I have lug nuts that have a key specifically for each lug nut. So I have to attach that to my four-way in order to remove the wheels. Now let's remove the front wheel on the driver's side. Let's talk about why we're doing this project in the first place. Let me take you back a couple of months ago. On this driver's side front, I was getting a hard pull to the left. Whenever the brakes would get warm, it felt like the brake was on all the time on this side. So I removed this wheel and I took the caliper apart, and there are two, let's call them bolts. I don't know what the name of the part actually is, but these two bolts allow the brake pads to release when you release the brake. Unfortunately, it felt like it was sticking. So I took them off, and I did not have any grease and I did not have time to go get any. So stupid me, I used WD-40. Now, that did fix the problem for about 3 weeks. Unfortunately, it slowly started coming back, and now we're getting it again. But because the driver's side had been holding the brake pad up against the rotor, I think that what happened is the brake pad wore down a little bit, and on the passenger side, it didn't. So that brake pad was still fairly large. When I would apply the brake after fixing the driver's side, now the passenger side would pull when I would apply the brake. So now, fast forward to the last week. The brake pads on the passenger side have worn down to about the same as the one on the driver's side, so we're good there. Now we're getting a little bit of a pull on the passenger side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove both calipers, and this time I'm going to use the proper grease to actually put on these bolts so that the brake pads can release properly. Now that we're done with the work on the front driver's side, let's go ahead and remove the rear driver's side and move this wheel to the front. A couple of tips that I'll mention is always remove the lug nuts in a star pattern so that you get in the habit of using that star pattern. And the second tip is to always put the lug nuts in by hand first before using any kind of tool to tighten them up. Now we've moved over to the passenger side. We're going to remove the front wheel and put it in the back driver's side. Just a note, if you've never done this type of work before, we highly recommend that you have a friend or family member next to you or nearby. When you're doing this, just in case something happens, they can call for emergency services. We want to make sure that all of our subscribers and all of our viewers are safe while doing any work that we do here on the channel. All right, so that's it. We got the calipers hopefully fixed. I'm gonna make a follow-up video in the next month or so to let you know whether or not that fixed helped. If it didn't, then what I'm gonna have to do is replace the calipers and the brake pads, and at the same time I'm gonna go ahead and replace the rotors. So stay tuned for that. If you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.